All over eBay, there are some terrible examples of titles on listings. You have titles with spelling mistakes, just pure laziness when it comes to checking spelling. Even if you're not good at spelling, it's not an excuse. You have wrong keywords in titles. You have keyword stuffing. You have other titles which do the absolute opposite. They don't have keywords in there at all. So in terms of trying to find that item in search, it's never going to be found. You've got titles which are just not descriptive, titles which are difficult to read. And when you put all these together, it just creates a really bad first impression of your listing. When you do create that bad impression, the only way that you're ever going to win the sale is if you're cheaper than someone else. If someone has a great listing, great title, great photographs, comes across as a really competent, knowledgeable seller, and then there's a lazy seller who's just done the bare minimum to get that listing up, the only way that they're going to compete is on price alone. So the lazy seller has to be cheaper. There has to be some benefit to the customer of chancing purchasing from this person. That trade-off is the price, which ultimately, if that's you, means you're making less. Let's take a look at some listings. We are going to use the Logitech Z200 speakers as an example, only because it's probably the last thing I searched. So we type in Logitech Z200. What's interesting is it's already given us some keywords to be thinking about in our title. So Logitech Z200 PC speakers or Logitech Z200 speakers. Okay, so these, again, just little words that you might want to put into your listing. So let's just type in Logitech Z200. Let's take a look at a few examples. So this one here, the first one, Logitech 980-00810 Z200. Okay, for me, this reference number, the 980-00810, means absolutely nothing. I can see what colour they are, they're black. So this seller, albeit a very successful one, not using the title properly. Logitech brand, got that right, got the Z200 right, but why that's in there at the front end and why we've put midnight black when we can see that the black, when they could have put so much more. For example, that this where we type in here PC speakers, they could have put PC speakers, so they could have added more keywords in there, but they haven't. The same then goes for the listing below it as well. So Logitech Z200 stereo speakers, and that is it. It's not the greatest title. I do understand it's brand new, so in terms of the condition, you don't need to be talking about the condition, but surely there's space for more. You can put down the power output if you needed to. You could put all sorts of other information in there. You could put PC speakers, multimedia speakers, PC Mac. There's examples that you could use. The one below is actually a better one. So this seller here has put Logitech Z200 PC speakers, which is what they are. That doesn't mean that they're not going to work on Mac, but it's just another keyword. Stereo sound. I don't think anyone sells anything that's mono now, so I don't agree with that. 10 watts peak power. Now, if you just wrote 10 watts, people would understand what 10 watts is. The peak power means nothing. 2 times 3.5 millimeter inputs. For me, 3.5 millimeter watt, because they're jack inputs. So, and you've only got to put 3.5 millimeter inputs, and it tells you that there's more than one anyway. So the 2x, there's a number of characters there which just don't need to be there. There's the comma there that doesn't need to be there. The sound probably doesn't need to be there. That doesn't need to be there. 10 watts if you needed to put that, you could do. You tend to shout out more about something that's very powerful. I don't know whether I'd include 10 watts. It sounds like it's not powerful, even though for a pair of PC speakers it is. And there, I think it's just a little bit wasted. That's this same seller. Again, it's just lazy listing. Title. It's Logitech speakers, Z200 white. Okay. We know that they're white. And you're not telling us anything more. What sort of condition are they? They're pre-owned, so we should be talking about the condition. We should be, because it's pre-owned, are they boxed? Do they come with all the accessories? I can see that the power supply is there. Why are we not mentioning that? Next one, BNIB, which stands for brand new in box. Okay, it says there that they're brand new, so do we need to put BNIB at the very front end of our listing? I don't think we do. Again, we've got this model number here. I question why that needs to be there. 10 watt multimedia speaker black. There's keywords in there that, or there's words in there that don't need to be in there. Logitech speakers Z200 white. Yep, we can see that they're white. We know that they're pre-owned. Tell us a bit more about these speakers. It looks like there's two different speakers there. One's faded or colour. And I hate this where they cut out the background. I don't know whether there's a power supply there. I don't know whether it's boxed. Again, this one here, another lazy one. Logitech Z200 I don't even know what the 2.0 even refers to. 10 watt speakers. Now this is an example, so well done to this seller. Okay, Logitech Z200 multimedia speakers. So they've got the brand, the model front end, added just more than just speaker. Okay, they put black. They don't need to put black, but they are great sound quality. So that gets an emotion going in the buyer's mind that yes, this is the one that they should be looking for, and they are right in looking for it because it's got great sound quality. Barely used tells you that the condition of the product should be nearly as new or great condition. I wouldn't put barely used. I would put great condition. I don't think it makes any difference if they're barely used or used a lot, provided they're in great condition. So can you see the majority of what we've seen there are lazy listings? One is half decent. It's a decent attempt. It's still not fantastic. I just sometimes I question what people do. Logitech spelt wrong. There's no excuse for that when it's written on the box. Logitech Z200 speakers, new and sealed. Okay, we know that they're brand new there. Or you don't have to put new and sealed. Just say that it's sealed. Deliver it within 3 working days. It's kind of the norm to get them within 3 days. So we're shouting out about something that's just standard. This isn't exceptional service. You could go to another. In fact, you could probably go to any one of these buyers above, and you'll get 3 working days. 3 to 5, I think, is every standard, and there's some which may even give you next day. So can you see from the examples we've seen there, when I said before that people are lazy and it's not hard to be better than most, that just shows you exactly what I mean. It's not hard to be better than those. So how do you create killer titles that will match what people are looking for? For me, there's 6 main points that your titles need to address or have. Okay, the first one is you're allowed 80 characters maximum, so it kind of makes sense to to use the space that eBay have given you to get as much information and relevant keywords into that space. There's no point them giving you 80 characters and then you using 20. Just doesn't make sense when you can have words, things in there that will match up with what a customer is searching for. The second thing is it needs to have keywords. So certain words that are specific to that listing and to the item that you're selling, they need to be in there, but they cannot be stuffed. So it can't be keyword after keyword after keyword after keyword just in there. It has to be readable, which then brings me on to my third point, is it needs to be easy to read. You need to make it easy for somebody to read your title quickly, understand what it is you're offering, and for them to think, well, yeah, okay, let's click on that. The fourth thing, it needs to be descriptive where possible. Don't forget, you've only got 80 characters, so you can't always put the condition and things like that. But if you have space and it reflects the condition of the product, if it's great, then put it in there. Okay, a customer wants the best condition product that they can get. There's no point in writing it's in decent condition or it's in poor condition. If it's in great condition, try and get it in. Everything needs to be relevant in terms of colours and things like that. Again, if you've got space, you can add that. Just by looking at the main picture, a customer can tell what colour it is. It's kind of a null thing to be putting in there when you've got other keywords you could be putting in there instead. And it needs to be front-ended. Now, what I mean by front-ended is the first initial words that define what the item is needs to show up first. There's no point putting professional, super, great condition, something, and then at the end put such and such speaker, because that will be lost. So when you're on the scroll on your phone or on desktop, it's the first part which is generally shown. In scroll, you cannot fit 80 characters in there, so you will lose some. The first part, so the brand, the model, and model number, that needs to be at the front so people know exactly what that is. So we know what the 6 areas are that we need to concentrate on when we're making a fantastic title. Let's go through an example together. This part of the video, I'm going to take you through the exact steps that I go through when I am coming up with titles for products. Now, the microphone I am actually using to record this on is a Blue Yeti. So we are going to use that as an example. So the first thing that I would do is I would write down what I would search for if I was in the market for a Blue Yeti. Okay. If you want to do this too, you can do. So if you were in the market for a Blue Yeti microphone, what is it that you would type into eBay first of all? Now, everyone's going to have different answers, but it just gives you an indication as to where your head's at. Some people will have different keywords. The result that I would use, or the words that I would use, would simply be Blue Yeti microphone USB. And that's only because I know a little bit about them. I know that there's a couple of different versions. There's a nano, you can get a condenser one. But I would type in Blue Yeti microphone USB because that would be the version that I want. Okay. So that's the first thing. So just get that down on paper, or just store it in your brain. And then the second thing to do is to then research other listings to find out whether or not there are other keywords which you may find useful, which may be searched by by other users. Other users are going to search different terms, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. So let's type in Blue Yeti microphone. I'm just going to leave it like that just for the sake of the search. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to write down all these words which you think are relevant, useful, that you think people might use to search for this item if they were in the market to purchase one. The fact that other people have already put them in their titles kind of tells you that that's where their heads are at. So let's have a quick look. So Logitech Blue Yeti USB microphone, which is pretty much word for word what I would be searching for. I didn't include the Logitech. Again, I know a little bit about these microphones, and I know that Blue were bought out by Logitech recently in the last few years, and I know that, for example, the Blue Yeti that I have personally is not a Logitech version, it's an older one. But if you were in the market for the latest version, you may want to add this search term. Okay, so Logitech Blue Yeti USB microphone for PC, Mac. Okay, so you probably want to be writing down these keywords. You want to be writing down PC, Mac, streaming, podcasting. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Blue Yeti Nano, which is the smaller version. Streaming has come up again. Microphone for recording. I don't think you need to use recording because I think that everyone knows that's what you do with a microphone anyway. Streaming has come up again. The gaming keyword, personally I wouldn't use it, because if you are gaming, you've probably just got a headset mic. If you are streaming the game on Twitch or something, then if you are playing it on Twitch or something like that and you're streaming it, then you're streaming it, and you would have a better microphone for that. So Blue Yeti Nano USB microphone condenser. Okay, so this is interesting. So some people will not type in Blue Yeti microphone. They might type in Blue Yeti mic. Okay, so you might want to add mic to your keywords. Podcast has come up again. And what you'll notice is some of these listings are for just the microphone and not the stand. So the fact that someone's adding stand, somebody may search for Blue Yeti USB microphone and stand. Okay, if they're specifically wanting a stand with it. Some listings won't include a stand. Blue Yeti microphone, USB mic, silver and stand for recording, streaming, read. Let's have a look at a few more. Logitech Blue Yeti USB streaming microphone. Doesn't tell you a great deal. Blue Yeti microphone, that even tells you even less. Logitech Blue Yeti USB. Can you see what I mean by the titles? That there could be much better. Blue Yeti USB microphone for professional. You can see that could be another keyword, because the fact that you're buying a microphone at this sort of price, they retail about £150, maybe a bit more, tells you that someone's taking it seriously. Desktop microphones, that's another keyword that we haven't come across with stand. Is there any? Cabano. Oh, that's the colour. I think that is about it. So those are the kind of keywords that you should be looking for. Okay, so then what you will do is you will craft a great title based on the elements that we mentioned earlier. That the fact that it needs to be as close to 80 characters as possible, with keywords in, easy to read, descriptive, relevant, and front-ended. So Blue Yeti microphone should be at the front end. And then the last thing you want to do is, if, say, for example, it wasn't a Blue Yeti and you didn't know what it was that you'd picked up from somewhere to resell on, or you don't have a clue what something is, then you do need to go and do some research on the item to understand exactly what it is. Like I was saying before, the Logitech Blue Yeti is a newer version of the Blue Yeti. I think they're doing away with the blue branding of it, so in the future it will just be called the Logitech Yeti. But it's just good to know that you know what the item is before you're selling it, just in case you get asked any questions. The fact that you can reply to someone quickly and say, yeah, it's a Logitech version, no it's not, that shows knowledge of the item that you're selling, and then that inspires confidence. Then the person is like, hang on, this seller's on it, knows his stuff or her stuff, and I'm happy to purchase based on how quickly they've responded to my question. So based on that example, the initial search term that I would have searched for would be was Blue Yeti microphone USB. As we've gone through the kind of analysis of the ones that are listed, the other keywords that have come, that I've listed is professional, streaming, stream, stand, PC, Mac, gaming, potentially the colour of the Yeti, because some people want a particular colour and they need it to be black, or they want it to be aesthetically pleasing. You could put full size because there is a nano version. Then the other keyword was premium, and then I've also got the keyword YouTube, condition. So if what you're selling is in great condition, then that's another keyword that you can be putting. Podcast, and then that little keyword that we mentioned earlier, mic. The fact that you're mentioning that it's just a mic and not a microphone. Some people might be searching by a mic. Okay. All that information taken, okay, the title should be crafted then, and the title that I've crafted, if I was selling this microphone myself, would be exactly this. It would be Blue Yeti USB microphone and stand, not using the word and, but using the little ampersand. So Blue Yeti USB microphone and stand, streaming podcast streaming podcast YouTube mic. So it kind of, yes, they are keywords, but what you're kind of saying is that it's a streaming podcast and YouTube mic. Great condition. Okay. And I've gone through, I've taken out any commas or any, well, not put them in the first place, but I've been quite efficient in the title, and by crafting that perfectly, I've got that to 78 characters. It's front-ended because the first part of the title starts as Blue Yeti USB microphone, but the things that refer to the streaming, the podcasting, the YouTube, the fact that the mic keyword is in there, and it finishes off saying that it's in great condition, that for me is the exact title that I would be selling this item under. Anything that you wanted to put into the title but you were unable to because you've run out of space, but you think is important, don't forget that can go in the description, can go into the item specifics. Some people might know this, some people might not know this, but in search, if a customer or somebody who's looking for an item puts in, for example, blue Yeti microphone graphite grey, then if you are unable to put the graphite grey part into your title, providing it's in the item specifics and or in the item description, that will show up in there. So that is exactly the method that I use to list, or should I say, to put titles, meaningful, engaging, useful titles to my listings. And it might feel a bit long-winded to start off with, but you will get it down to a couple of minutes, a few minutes every single time, and it will pay dividends because your items will sell. So the three very basic steps, okay, is first of all, write down how would you search for that item that you're selling. First of all, how would you search for it if you were buying it or looking for it? Secondly, find out how other people are selling it right now. So what keywords are they using? Get some ideas from what's already out there, and then research it and know what it is you're selling, know a little bit about the product, and then that might even give you some more keywords that even your competitors are not capturing. So how would you find it? See how other people are putting it out there right now, and then do a little bit of research and find out if there's anything else that you can add that little bit of spice onto.